Welcome to the Talking Tradesman podcast. This is a space where people talk honestly about their lives, the highs, the lows, the pressure, and their mental health. No scripts, no filters, no pretending. Hosted by me, Russell Payne. Let's talk. Welcome to the latest episode of the Talking Tradesman. In the studio with me today, I have Rob from, on social media, from Rob Real Property, which I'll tag below. Go and give him a follow. Rob, thank you very much for giving up your time and coming all the way down to sit with me and have a chat, mate.
Yeah,
how are we?
Pleasure, mate. Yeah, all good. Yourself?
Not too bad, man. Well, I'll say that, not too bad. I was saying off camera, it's been a terrible start to the week, in fairness, but I won't bore the audience with that.
We've got to keep it positive.
It's one of them things, that's an English thing, isn't it? Like, how you doing, mate? Yeah, I'm great.
Yeah.
Fucking ends.
Yeah, it's either great or living the dream with a sarcastic tone to it.
That's it. Yeah. Never actually the true sort of like standing of how the week is. But right, mate. Best way to describe you, Rob? Property developer, builder,
tradesman. My bio said tradesman at heart, but property development. So I've gone from plumbing and heating from a young age, and then I did 6 years plumbing and heating. Went away working on cranes, totally different U-turn of job. Back to plumbing and heating, and then into development in later life by getting a coach. A coach kind of literally pushed me into it. That's
Mrs. Paul.
Yeah, that's Paul. Yeah.
Shout out to former guest of the podcast, Paul Tinker.
Yeah.
Who's obviously, I'm assuming that's how you found me.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, seen yourself and Paul literally went on a listening spree. I think I was up and down to London. It was like every other episode I'm watching, listening, and I'm like, yeah.
I appreciate it, mate. Yeah, so big shout out to Paul, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's one of his alumni, is that the right word?
Illumini, yeah, maybe. Or cult members, whatever you want to call it.
The cult of Tinker. But yeah, well, as I say, mate, really appreciate you coming all the way down and having a chat with me. We're going to get into who you are, what you do. I mean, we've mentioned property development, but I want to sort of go right the way back and find out how you got there, why you got there, and sort of like your trials and tribulations along the way. So let's take your story back to as far as is relevant. I guess, sort of like how your early days were, where you grew up, that kind of thing.
So I was born and raised in Hull. Like most kids our age, we was talking about it. You grow up and I was a good kid in school to a point, and then you leave school, turn into an absolute little tearaway from age 18 to 25. Like, it's the same thing in it. Too much drink, fighting, being a little shit, bringing trouble home to your mother.
Rite of passage, mate. Rite of passage, that is.
But then, you get a bit older and a bit wiser. But like we'd spoke about previous, you're searching for your identity, aren't you? You don't know. I think when you're younger, you don't know who you are. And one of my oldest friends, we always laugh about it. He's always saying to me, like, the man of many personas. Like, every time I'd meet you, you'd got this new group of friends who you was trying to fit in with. But the long-standing one just kind of stood at the back, like, what's he doing? Oh, yeah, he's back again. He's
trying to find your tribe, mate.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. So,
how was it in terms of like role models and like growing up?
So my dad was a long-distance lorry driver.
Okay.
So away, he was away a lot of the time. We had a real funny relationship, did me and my dad. So, but this comes from his dad. So his dad's an old farmer. So the farmers was on the land 16 hours a day. Come on, kids. All right, yeah, still alive. See you in morning.
Yeah.
And then that was his fathering. And then to me it was, all right, Rob, yeah, see you in morning, yeah. And that was it. So like when the lorry driving, you never really saw him. Not in a bad way, it was just graft. That's what it was like, wasn't it? Like the
providing, mate.
That's it.
Yeah.
The dad was the provider. The mum was the raised. The one who raised you. And I never saw a great deal of him. Not in a bad way. He was just always working. So then when you get older, you kind of like you're looking for these people, aren't you? Looking for. But I always used to end up knocking around with people who was a bit older. And I remember reading. I'm sure it was in the Inner Chimp Paradox or something like that. You read
Great
that?
book.
Amazing, isn't it? And And it was saying that, you know, you look at these older people, even if they're only a few years, and they're like father figures, and they try and latch onto them because you're trying to
replace the gap.
Yeah, that's it. And knowing what I know now, that's probably what I was doing. But back then, you're like, oh, he's cool. He's a bit of a fucking baddie, him. You know, like, you want to...
Do you know what, though, Rob? It's one of those, mate, isn't it? Because, you know, like, anything to do with psychology and stuff like that, it's not taught. So...
No.
And especially that generation, like I said, pre-record, we worked out we were 3 years apart.
Yeah.
But like, mate, I got to 30 without ever talking about mental health.
Same.
You know what I mean? Or psychology, or why you behave a certain way. It was just not talked.
The strangest thing, you know, you say about psychology, me suddenly getting into it. I was 20, I think I was about 26, and I was on an oil rig, and I was walking.
How'd you just end up on a
oil
rig? I just happened to be on an oil rig.
No, so I was out there working, and I was on the treadmill, and I think I was like sprinting, and I was jumping off, and I was sprinting, and this guy just literally said to me, he was like, "Are you all right?" And I went, "Yeah, you." He went, "Yeah, I'm just doing a bit of, you know, just trying to clear my mind." And I said, "Oh, what?" He says, "Oh, I've you know," he said, "I'm just getting divorced." And I said, "Oh, me and all." And I met him the next day in the gym, and he went, "I've got a book that I think could be helpful for you." And it was that, Inner Chimp Paradox.
Oh, shit.
And he was like, "Read it." And then I went, "Oh, yeah, well, I'll read it and I'll give it back." And he went, No. He said, "Promise me." He said, "You'll read it." And he went, "Give it to somebody else who needs it." And I was like, for someone who'd never really read, like you said, mental health was like something that people who was in madhouses had mental health, you know. You didn't think about it, did you? And I was like, okay. And I read it. I think I remember reading it, and I was fucking in tears. I was like, this is fucking... Why is this not taught?
Yeah.
And I was like...
That's amazing, mate, to be fair. What a moment, though.
That's it.
For somebody to recognise that.
Yeah. He must have read that book and been able to pick it up. Do you know, like when you get... I mean, you're going back into... You know, like people say subconscious vibration between people. He must have seen it in me and gone, he needs this book. And I was like, and I remember passing it on to somebody else, a friend, same again, going through a breakup, like, read this, because it's all about, you know, you've got your inner chimp, haven't you, that wants to jump out.
Yeah.
But logic and sense needs to come first.
So essentially, mate, it's about recognising and managing your emotions, isn't it? And separating you from your thoughts. Yeah. Because that's the thing, isn't it? Like, if nobody... First of all, if you haven't read the book, read it, because it is, like, fantastic. Yeah. I'd go as far as there were 2 books that I read that I would say were life-changing for me. That was one, which was The Chimp Paradox, and the other one was The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Have you read that?
I did on the way, yeah.
No way? Yeah. Right, okay. So I went through a weird stage, mate. I won't go into my story, but I went down a rabbit hole and started studying philosophy. And the Stoics. So like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, all that lot. And I can't even remember where I saw it. And all I read was that Ryan Holiday was like a modern day Stoic. And I thought, I'll check that out. Put him in, and that was the first book that come up. But those 2 books, mate, for me, completely changed my mindset and outlook on certain things in life, which is why I say it was life-changing for me. Because the whole obstacle is the way, the Stoic vision on things is to seek the positive in the negative.
Yeah, that's it,
And it to me, it kicked me out of a victim mindset.
Yeah.
You know?
I think if you've been, like I said, I got divorced young.
27?
28, I think, was the day of
what age did you get married, Rob?
Young, 21, I think we was.
Yeah. So I was 22 when I first got married, mate, so we're not far apart.
That's it. But it's got married, had a daughter. So I think it's the bond in it. Did you have kids with?
Yeah. So I mean, got married at 22, and my ex-wife was pregnant with my son at the time. Yeah. So I was doing the right thing and settling down and all that kind of thing. So had my son when was I 22 or 23? Either way, close. Yeah,
that's it, innit? Yeah, and so married and then divorced young, and like it's a weird one. I think you're not quite prepared for it, are you? And then I I think when I got divorced, I literally walked out with a bin bag on my back. That was it. Start again.
Same thing. Literally left with bin bags, actual bin bags with my clothes in.
Yeah. Little stick with a.
That's it. Yeah, little white hanky on there.
That's the one. Yeah. But yes, I did that, and it was. But I think for books, for me, it was like you said, definitely Inner Chimp Paradox, and my other one was Think and Grow Rich, but not because the title's misleading. Like I think it makes you think money, but it's like when I read it, I've read it so many times. It's all about like your mind. Obviously, again touching on what we said, your mind's everything. What you think you become, and all the rest of it. And again, I was the same victim mindset. But the funny thing was, looking back now, I was a victim of my own I caused every problem. And then, why is this happening to me? Like, because you did that, you fucking idiot. Like, that was you. Nobody else did it. But then you, like, sat there, me again. And
do you know what, though, mate? See, I've had this, I've used this same analogy a few times. It's like, when it comes to the way that we react to things, quite often we're given an empty toolbox.
Yeah.
So unless you've had somebody sit down with you, and I always like my dad was the same, mate. Mental health was just not talked about.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever got asked how I was ever as a kid. It was just like man up, get on with it. That was the generation. So when shit happens in life, you've got an empty toolbox.
Yeah.
So you don't know what to deal with it.
Yeah.
And the only like my peer like around me, it was like, what do you do if you're stressed? Well, you go and have a drink.
Yeah.
And you know, if you and then maybe you drink too much and have a fight. that was the only coping mechanism I had. That was all that was in my little toolbox. Was like struggle, follow this path.
Yeah.
And it takes a while, like because I mean I know for a fact, like if I ask you now how you would deal with any adversity, it wouldn't be the same as you dealt with it in your 20s.
Yeah.
But we often look back, I think, and look back at ourselves, like a previous version of ourselves, and we're like, what a dickhead I was. But realistically, you couldn't have been anyone else. Because if you haven't got... It's different, I think. If you are aware and you've learned about coping mechanisms and you've explored them and you found their work, and then you still choose going and getting pissed down in a fight to cope with shit, then you are a dickhead.
Yeah.
But if you don't know that option exists, you know what I mean?
I think as well, like when you let's just if you embark on a journey of self-discovery, it's like it's never ending, isn't it? Like you can always be a better person. You who you are now will not be the best version of you. It's same as me. Like I think, look back now and I'm like, right, don't drink, really, don't fight, don't do none of that shit. But you're still not as good as you're gonna be. Like my next thing, I want to be able to give as much as I can back. You know what I mean? Like that's my next thing, because we've got my family. There's like us, and then there's another side of the family which they was badly into drugs, heroin, stuff like that. And I remember one of the things, what I'm trying to do now with the housing is I want to be able to provide, housing. And one of the things I remember speaking to Wayne when he used to get out of jail, and I used to say to him, like, are you all right? Are you clean? Yeah, I'm clean. And then you'd speak to me a few weeks later and like, what? And he wouldn't be. And you'd be like, what happened? It's like, well, I've got nowhere to go. So I used to ring my old mates. I'll come round and go around and they're still doing it. It's just a couple of beers, one thing leads to another and you're back on it. And I was like, fuck, like, and he was like, you get out of jail, but there isn't really any rehabilitation once you're out of jail. You're out of jail and then you're off, and you fall back in. And I was like, and then now one of my things is I want to try and eventually be able to give back, like help people. I'd love to be able to help get people back into work, stuff like that. And I think, personally, that's like the purpose of life, like to give something back to other people, because if you're doing it all for yourself, then what's the fucking point? I think, it's like you're giving this out there, aren't you? Like you're helping people and, giving people a voice. I think if you just kind of do things for yourself, it's quite a selfish way to live.
Let's stop there a moment to say a massive thank you to our headline sponsors, Zinza. Now, Zinza understands the commitment and dedication and long hours it takes to get a job done right. That's why they make the paints and primers that pros trust to do their best work. Plus, if you're looking for support, you can also sign up for pro membership and you'll have access to Zinzer's specification team. They make it easy to pick the right products and will work closely with you on site to deliver a solution that meets the highest standards. It's all part of what makes Zinzer the mark of a pro. A big thank you to Zinzer for continuing to support the Talking Tradesman podcast and helping us spread mental health awareness throughout construction and beyond. Now let's get back to the episode. You've hit on a couple of things, Rob, to be fair. Like, one, so again, like I said, in my studies, one of the things I studied was Buddhism.
Yeah.
And there's a key Buddhist like principle of their religion, which is that happiness is found in service to others.
Yeah. So it's in Think and Grow Rich. It's you basically, and I dare say, if you think that book, Think and Grow Rich, I think it was written in 1939.
1939.
It's that old.
I've never read it. I'll have to look that one up.
It's good. But you've got to think, in the book, there's a lot of religion. You know, they speak a lot about Christianity, which is probably, you know, they'll probably go further back, and some of it will be Buddhism. You know, everything works its way in, doesn't it? Like, for you to have just quoted that, it's quoted in the book. It's come from somewhere, hasn't it? You know, the guys.
A lot of this stuff is thousands of years old.
Yeah.
You know, some of what I would consider the most intelligent people are like philosophers from the ancient Greek. We're talking 2,000-year-old knowledge.
Yeah.
We as a species are still the same people.
Yeah,
so the same things that tick boxes for us now are the same. You know, and you know how you are in service to others has changed.
Yeah.
But there's still that underlying thing. And the other thing that you touched on, mate, and it's one of the privileges I've had of sitting down now with like 130 different people, and I talk to people about where they hit hard times and struggle. Common theory, like a common theme there, is lack of purpose.
Yeah.
Is not knowing who they were, where they were going, why they were here.
Yeah.
And those things, like living in service to others and having a purpose, connect.
Yeah.
But it's two of the most important things in life to me.
I think if you're in service to others, you've got a duty to keep going and show up. Like you've got to show up daily, haven't you? If you've got, so you know, this is what you hear about. You know, there's millionaires and people that commit suicide because they've got to a point where they've got everything, they're not doing anything, and they're miserable, they're depressed, and then eventually they, you know.
My theory on that is it's to do with values, because I think a lot of society in the Western society now, you're told your values.
Yeah.
So you're told from school, the key to happiness is study hard, work hard, get good grades so you can get a good job. Or why do I need a good job? So you can get a big house and a nice car and have 2.4 kids and a little dog, and then you are happy. And there's so many people that never step outside that path and that box that when they get there, they then go, fuck, I'm still not happy.
Do you know, you've just tweaked there. When I said obviously I was working offshore, that was 2012 until about 2020, about 8 years. So I had 8
good chunk then, mate.
Yeah, so I had 8 good years working around the world, earning good money.
What were you doing?
I was doing crane inspections. So
crane inspections on oil rigs.
Yeah, so it was I was abseiling, you know, on ropes.
Yeah.
Because I was a bit of an adrenaline junkie when I was a kid. I was like, that looks cool.
I don't know why, Rob, but like those oil rigs, I've always looked at and thought they look terrifying to me.
Oh, yeah,
because they look like they're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, they are. So like you go, some of them, and you can be literally like 52 miles from land. So if anything happens, you're a long way. You're 2.5 hours on a helicopter. You just sat there, you know, and it can be. I remember the first time I ever got on one. I walked. So they have not checkered plate, you know, like checkered grating where you can see through. And I looked down and I was like, holy fuck, like you're 300 or 400 foot above water. You're like, if one of these goes through, I'm dead. But then you'll walk along, and some of them have gone through and they've got scaffold boards on them, and you're like, this is fucking terrifying. You're trying to be brave because you're with all your new mates.
Fuck that.
But like I had like 8 years of like really good money. So we did I call it the brick trap, where you buy a house, get a bit of money, you buy a new car, and you get a bit more money, so you buy a bigger house. And all you're really doing is tightening this noose around your neck. And we eventually ended up with, we bought it for 250 grand, but it was derelict, and it was a 4-bed house with a pool, right? But we could afford it because it was 250 grand. So we bought this house, got it all done, we remortgaged it, and pulled the equity out of it and did whatever else. Bought a Porsche. We was like, on the face of it, these two have got it made, and I had never been so fucking miserable. Like,
really?
Yeah, because you was working to pay for the house that you couldn't be in because you was at work paying for the house, and you're fucking just going round and round. And while all this was going on, do you remember when Liz Truss did that mini budget and crashed the economy?
Mm-hmm.
And we're still paying the price now. The mortgage, it went up by 175% overnight because we went onto a variable and we couldn't get out of it. So it was like nobody had any money because she just crashed the economy. So all the businesses are scaling back. And we was just like absolute, like rock bottom. And we didn't realise it at the time. I said to my missus, and I apologised to her not long back, and I just, like, literally sat her down. She was like, I think she thought I thought we was getting divorced.
This is your current partner,
Yeah, my
right?
current
Okay,
missus. Yeah, Joe. So we've been together for 8 years now, and we sat down. I said, "Oh, can I speak to you?" She was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "No, not to worry about it." And she's like, "Rob, you scared?" I went, "No, sit down." I was like, I said, "I'm sorry for how I was for them years," and she was like, "I thought you'd never like come back," and I was like, I was just in darkness, like, because you're just caught on a fucking treadmill, like work Friday, paid bills, and you're like, and this is like we were speaking before, and I feel there's a lot of lads, especially tradesmen, where you know they're grafting their ass off and you know getting bumped for money, late paid, and they're just caught in that thing. In it, I think that's why we said like it's probably why there's such a high rate of depression and things, because it's a hard cycle to get out of.
Right, it's not just depression. The suicide rates in construction are the worst by industry in the UK. So it's the worst. It's overtook the old. It used to be vets and farmers.
Yeah.
Suicide in construction now is the worst industry. And as we were saying pre-record, like so many people just in the UK, forget construction. I believe it's like 3 weeks is where they say that most people would be broke if they didn't get paid for 3 weeks. Yeah. How terrifying is that?
And it's unfortunately, I think as well, you've got prices in construction. You know, people aren't ramping up the prices. You know, they're not. More materials have gone up. Van, diesel, everything's gone up, but you're not passing that on to the customer because the customer's just about at the same point where they're like, we don't really, just use this as an example because it's what I know, we don't really want the bathroom doing, but we have to have it done. And you're like, you know, it's hard. It's definitely hard for businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, and trades. You know, it's a real shame. And we was lucky I say lucky. We just sold everything.
So this was when you got your hit with a 175 increase.
Yeah.
This was when you had the 4-bed house and the pool and the Porsche.
That's it. So like just for like context.
Were you still doing offshore at that point?
No.
Okay.
So my dad, this is another thing. So my dad, he had an aneurysm in 2020, just after COVID, and I was in Amsterdam. And I got a phone call, "Can you come home? Your dad's in hospital." I was like, fuck. So on a flight back, got home, and he was on life support. And he was in hospital. They called us in to say goodbye because it was like, he's not going to make it. He's 67. He's 67 now. At the time, he would have been, how long ago was that? Yeah, so he'd been just over 60. So he plastered his entire life. Retired, had an aneurysm. I was like, fucking hell, you should have just carried on plastering.
Mate.
Like, there's a lot to be said for retirement, isn't there?
Do you know what? Yeah, it's it's scary the amount of people that happens to, though.
Yeah.
I think it's like obviously us tradespeople, we're well-oiled machines.
Yeah.
But it's like getting an F1 car, though, isn't it? And then just stopping.
Yeah.
And then going, well, I'm going to go from being a race car to maybe popping and doing a school run once every 3 weeks. You seize up.
Yep.
Like, I think it's really important, to prepare for retirement.
Yeah.
You know, make sure that you've got, whether it's a physical hobby or whatever. Remember when my dad retired, I said to him, I was like, join a gym.
Yeah.
And he was like, I've never been to a gym in my life. What the fuck am I going to start training now for? And that was my argument. I was like, because you're going to go from running to just stopped.
Yeah.
And it's not good for you.
Yeah, that's exactly like what he'd done. And I was like, I come home, picked my mum and my sister up, went to the hospital, said goodbye, because it was like, we don't think he's going to make it. So I was like, fucking hell. So I was like, right, but again, honestly, it was like, for me, I was like, I think I like give him a pat on the shoulder and see you later, Dad. That was it. Because that was his dad, my dad. You know, like it wasn't. I said, I said something daft. I went, you fucking daft bastard. You shouldn't have retired or something like that. And off I went. And anyway, they rang back. He's managed to pull through. I was like, fucking hell. So he pulled through, and because he'd had this aneurysm, he was in the garden. Nobody had found him for like 8 hours because they'd gone out shopping. His body had parts of his body had shut down. So then because he was so old, they had to take bits out, call in again, or just he might not pull through. You're like, fucking hell. Said goodbye again, goes back another operation. And again, and I was like, so 3 times we got called in. But yeah, so this is all going on. You get called back. All the stress of the bills. You're thinking, fucking hell, this is bad. And miraculously, he pulled through. He was in there for about 9 months. But he was all right. He was just on a ward. And yeah, he pulled through. He's still going to it, pottering around.
Oh, that's fucking. Well, I mean, that's brilliant, mate. I was waiting to see where the story was going, but that's brilliant news.
He's still pottering around. I seen him today. I went round and he's in his little joinery workshop, just chopping up bits of wood. Don't think he needs them, but
that's what he needs to be doing. I
said this to him: make some benches, some fucking bed boxes. What do I want to do that for? I'm like, keep you going. But yeah, he's doing bits. But yeah, He's carrying on. He's carrying on. But his dad's 96, farmer, fry ups every day, fish and chips for tea. That's all he's ever at. You get him on here and you get a conversation out of it.
Really?
So when you see and it's people are optimising health and you look at them and you're like,
mate, yeah. I've got one of my grandparents left at the moment. Oh, don't worry about that, mate. Terrible guest leaving the phone. Don't worry about it, mate, honestly.
I'd put it on mute.
I wouldn't imagine, for anyone that's listening, Rob's phone's ringing. Terrible. But you guys probably can't hear it because of the background noise cancelling thing. So do you need to get it?
Do you know what? Can we pause?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to.
It's fine.
I thought it's an alarm. Well, do you know what my alarm is? Post content. So.
You can tick off that you're doing it.
I know. Well, this was one of my things this year. Make myself, because it's an uncomfortable thing. Make myself more out there. Yeah.
Just pull that in a little bit closer to you, Rob, as well for me.
So like that.
That should be sound. It'll be picking you up, mate, and it auto levels it afterwards.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if one's more loud than the other. I just noticed that your camera wasn't switching as often as mine.
I see.
So it might have just been a little bit further away. Yeah. And we're back. So
apologies.
Yeah, we're all good. We're all good. But yeah, mate. I think I was saying I've got one grandparent left with us, which is my dad's mum.
Yeah.
She's 95 or 6. Same thing, mate. Lifestyle wise, certainly not optimal.
No.
But it's just. And then other ones, you hear about people that live like the perfect life, and sadly something comes along. So
it's bizarre, isn't it? Like you said, there'll be marathon runners and they drop dead at 55.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't think there's any secret to it. I think it's just look at a drawer.
I mean, I think you can definitely improve. I don't want anyone being like, oh, it don't matter then. You can definitely improve your chances, but there are like the outliers that just they were just destined to be here for longer.
Look at the Rolling Stones. I don't think any of them
exactly.
are going to die. They just keep going.
And the stuff that they did. You talk about like pictures of health now. And Christ, man.
I know.
No, it's frightening. I want to go like talking about that period in your life then, because it seems like you'd been under an incredible amount of stress.
Yeah.
You've gone from building the British version of success.
Yeah.
Nice house, swimming pool. I mean, again, mate, British person with a swimming pool.
You could never
made
use it.
Of course not, but you've made it if you've got one.
That's
house with a pool. Be like, bloody hell. So you've hit that pinnacle. It's so bizarre, mate, isn't it? The more I think about what we do and how we quantify success, because you're so right. The more you earn, it's this like this little worm in your mind that goes, I can afford a bigger house. Yeah. But why do you need a bigger house if you beyond a certain thing? It's strange, isn't it? Because you tend to start off your housing journey, like you might buy your first property, and unless you're very lucky, it might be like a 2 up, 2 down or a flat or something. And then you progressively get bigger, you have kids, we need a bigger house now, bigger house. Then the kids grow up and leave home, and quite often then there's this weird period where people are left in a 4 or 5 bed house. Yeah. Kids have left.
Yeah.
And you're maintaining all that house for no particular reason. No. Then the older you get, you have to downsize because it's the whole can't manage the house now. And you end up in a little retirement
village or
whatever
commune,
it might be that are charging in. I tell you, that's a business to get into, mate.
I know, it's crazy. That and care homes.
That's what I'm saying. Mental. I've done a few jobs for care homes, and this was years ago now, but there's one of the care homes I worked for, and to be fair to them, they were very good and they did end of life care, which you wouldn't want to do. But I think they were charging out their rooms to the NHS then at 900 quid a week. Yeah,
it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, my sister, that's what my sister does, end of life care, and she says they've got however many residents and it's X amount a week, and you're like, Jesus.
You do the math on the,
you
the
do
amount
a quick,
of rooms.
You're thinking, bloody hell, I'm in the wrong game. But
I mean, back then, we are talking probably 7 or 8 years as well. Yeah, £900 a week. You're at like 3,600 a month based on a 4-week month. Yeah, multiply that by 50 odd rooms.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it? It's funnily enough, you say that when I was offshore, there was a guy who he'd bought 2 care homes in Durham. He was up in Durham.
Okay.
I can't remember like you get Ofsted for schools where they inspect. I don't know what the name of it's called for care homes, but basically there was under special measures, and he'd been working in Abu Dhabi or Dubai or wherever, and he's getting paid thousands of pounds probably a day. And he'd actually bought 2 care homes over the period of like 10 or 12 years. And I think he was about 40. And I remember saying to him, I said, are you back next trip? Because you'd meet someone, you'd get on with them. And I remember he always used to keep himself away from us because he was like, you could see he was quite a well-to-do guy, and we was all like chimpanzees jumping up. But this was before I read the Chimp Paradox and become the refined gentleman. Yeah. So, we're all, effing and jeffing and swearing and all the rest of it. And he kind of just stayed away. And I said, are you back next trip? He went, no. I said, what are you doing? He went, I'm retired. I was like, fuck off. See, I'm fucking retired. I went, you'll be back. He went, no. He said, I'm retired. I've bought 2 care homes over that. And he told me, and I was like, what do you mean? And I think he'd bought these 2 care homes for I think he said 300 grand. And, like when from back then, 300 grand was like, whoa. But, like in construction, that can be 3 or 4 months' work on a big, it kind of shrinks the bigger jobs you get into. So, but back then it was like, whoa. And that was him. He'd bought them. I think his girlfriend or somebody had turned him round, and that was him. And he was retiring. I was like, fucking hell.
The crazy thing, mate, as well, is that they charge so much money for the rooms, and yet the staff are all on minimum wage.
Yes, yeah.
So it's, in terms of a business to get into, it's you're charging premium and paying base rate.
I think a lot of carers as well, and I know this from my sister, and it sounds mad, they genuinely do it out of love.
Yeah.
They're not because they're not there for the money, because the money's not in it.
Yeah.
And like I say to her, she'll complain about it, and I'll be like, just leave. She's like, it's not that easy. And I'm like, yeah, it is. I do it all the time. Like, if I do a contract, I'll go into another contract. But because I've done it for the last 20 odd years, it's like, you'll do a contract where you're right, we're done, next one.
Yeah.
For her, it's been a job that she's had for so long that she doesn't know what else is out there. But also you can tell she loves it. She's there. She likes looking after people. And I think that's why she sticks at it,
It's that same thing, same principle though, mate, giving to others.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that, to me, is that's the magic formula. If you can find a job, because at the end of the day, mate, we all, like, happiness is found in service to others, yes, but that doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice everything of your own to serve others. Yeah. If you can find something that you can earn good money while serving others, that to me is like the magic formula. That's
the unicorn in it. Yeah. That's it.
And it's that job that you love. If you can deliver whatever job that is and deliver real value to other people, whilst earning a good amount, having a decent standard of life, and looking after your close family, that to me is winning.
Yeah,
like that's the jackpot.
Yeah, that's it. Like I did it the other day. So I sat and I've got like like you plan your goals, don't you? And I was like looking and I was thinking, right, I'm going to start planning the next 18 months and what I'm going to do. And that was one of the things, was basically I wanted to start, doing my coaching and whatever else. And that would eventually, you're kind of ticking every box then, aren't you? You're doing what you want. Because you do, I don't think there's no such thing as like a self, like selfless coaching. Like, you're doing it for yourself, because you do feel good when you help someone, don't you? So you kind of like, I'm getting that back by helping. But it's not, you're not doing it just for you, you're doing it for them, but you're getting a bit back. So there's that as well, isn't there? That you get a good feeling from it,
100%.
Like, and I think as you get a bit older, especially, I've noticed a lot of people who I've met who helped me now. I think it's only, like I said, it's only really been the last, I would have said, like 5 or 10 years I've started to sort of really, you watch whose energy you take as well, don't you? And the people who are around me who tend to help me the most, they just want to help because they're kind of where they want to be in life. And then I don't think they know they're doing it, but they're kind of helping you, and you're thinking, you're not doing this because you want to help, but you're just kind of where you want to be. Yeah. So now the next thing is, I'll help somebody else.
What a brilliant thing to do, though. Yeah. To climb to a peak or a ledge, and then turn around and help others up. Yeah. Because that's what it is. Yeah. It's the like, right, okay, I've found something that works. I'm happy with where I am. I could just sit here on my own on this ledge. Yeah. Or I can turn around and help the next person up. Yeah, yeah. And then feel good about myself for doing that as well. It's a beautiful thing to do, mate. And I think as a species, we need that. Yeah, it's that connection and the,
I think, like, life's hard enough as it is, in it, without not doing that. And I can remember years ago when I didn't not knock around, but I want in the circles that I'm in now. I want talking to the good people that I've got around me now. And I remember speaking to somebody, and I remember saying to him, like, he was like in our area, he was quite, well to do, and I got a bit of money and whatever else. But again, this is when you look at people who've got money and you think, oh, they've got it sussed. And I remember saying to him, like, how did you get like where you are and blah, blah, blah. And he just said something shitty like, just fucking work for it. And I was like, brilliant, thank you for that insight. That was very helpful. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whereas now, like, if you speak to people, people who've done well in business and whatever else, and they've got the time, they'll sit down and they'll say, right, well, this is what I did, and this is how I do it. And a lot of people will go, if you want any help, just thingy. And it's like they've got to where they want to be, and then, like you said, they've turned around and gone, come on, I'll give you a hand.
It's the scarcity mindset thing, though, isn't it? It's like, it's a weird thing, actually. I think social media, like, it's got a lot of downsides, but it's got some positives. And one of the positives of that, like, say in the construction industry, that I find is people are way more open to helping people on social media. And I look back to when I started my business, I was working out of a little town, and I thought I was a big fish in a small town.
Yeah.
But if I imagine like being at the trade centre and another decorator coming up to me and going, Russ, I'm struggling with this. How do you do that? I'd have been like, I'll fucking tell you.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, you're my competition.
Yeah.
Whereas social media now has come in, it's like, well, if some geezer that's in Kent is asking me, how did I achieve that finish? They're not my competition.
No.
So, of course, I'm going to give that information out. I think there's a bit of that, like, just generally in life now. I think that communication's improved.
Yeah.
So competition has gone down.
Yeah, I think as well, like, people, a lot, like, with trades, like, just trade, not even just trades, but everything, like, people want a bit of a sense of community as well. Like, if you're, like, in a forum, for instance, and everyone's interacting, and just an example, like you said, decorative skateboards, like, how have you managed to do that? Oh, well, I did this, and oh, that's nice. Like, people big each other up, don't they, when they're in a community? And I definitely agree with you there. Like, I remember, you know, like, years ago, you wouldn't... it is, in it? It's scarcity mindset. You're kind of thinking, fucking hell.
I'm going to tell him, because then he's going to take work off me.
Yeah. But then, like, you're probably at a point now where you're like, well, I'm happy enough. Got my guys, got my work.
Yeah.
If you tell matey from down the road who was a one-man band how to do something, he's not going to come in and shark your contracts. But it's a whole mindset shift, in it, you know, like
100%, mate. But you just feel better for it. It's like being open in that respect, rather than feeling like somebody's coming to take something off me. If I give that knowledge away, they've taken it off me. It's like, you know, let's all raise each other up, you know.
That's it. And I think as well, like, if you're confident enough in your ability, you haven't really got to worry anyway, have you? You can kind of just go, you know, like, you'll know the standard of your decorating. I can't really be fair to the standard of my plumbing and heating, because I was fucking shit. I didn't even, like, I want shit, but I want the best. You know, like, I remember, like, I used to, like, try doing stuff, and the two kids who I used to work with, they was fucking mint. And I mean, like, do you know, like, when you see on Instagram people put plumbing jobs up, and you're literally like, whoa, look at that. And there'd be mine in the corner, and they'd fucking crop it out, and they'd be like, don't put that in. I had no passion for it.
Yeah.
And it's hard, innit? Like, I think if you've got no passion for a trade, for
100%.
your work, you can't give heart to something that your heart's not in, can you?
You're just there to earn the money.
That's it.
That's it. And that you haven't got that. I know what you mean. I know exactly the feeling that brings along with it. I've done jobs like that.
Yeah, and I had a couple of opportunities at bigger contracts, and it was like, you're going to have to buckle down and whatever else. And I just remember thinking, like, my heart's not in this. I don't want to do this. And that was when this was going back to, obviously, my dad selling all this. Like, we literally...
Let's go back to that, mate, actually, because we've drifted off. So you got to that point where you've had to sell everything.
Yeah.
First of all, like, how were you coping with that? And then what happened after that?
I think if you go back now, like I said to my missus, I was just in the dark, like, just black over, you know, like, down in the dumps. Nothing you can do is enough. Can't earn enough. You know, you'll do 7 days a week, and all you've done is paid an extra bill. And I remember I just went in one day, and we was barely even talking. Like, it was so, because bless her, she was the same. She was working her ass off. She knew what we was up against. And I just went in one day. I'd been walking the dog, and I literally, like, just went in, and I was like, I'd been listening to a song, and and the lyrics, it said, "There's no money, there's no possessions, only obsessions. I don't need that shit." And I was like, fucking hell, like, that is this, what I'm living this fucking thing that this guy's singing about. Got in, and I was like, we need to sell everything, like, fucking everything. So we sold our business, we sold house, cars, everything. And it took about 9 months. And when we'd sold everything, this was all at the same time, by the way, Jo decided she wanted to move to Spain, and I was like, let's just get this done. She's had enough by this point. I'm like, yeah, I've had enough, but we kind of need to get this sorted. And we just got rid of everything. Like, and we had nothing, but we'd had more than ever before, because I said to Joe not long back, I feel like my personality's come back, because I like fucking about, like playing tricks on people. I live to wind people up, like when you're on sites, just fucking what you do. But I didn't do it. I'd just go to play, all right, yeah, you, yeah, sound, yeah. And I said, like, everything's gone. I said, all the darkness is gone, and it just ground me down to a point. But again, you're the man of the house, so you have to, everything all right? Yep. Is everything? Yeah, it's fine. And you just be like that. And even like my stepdaughter, bless her Dash, she's lovely, beautiful little thing. And she says to me like, Robbie, is everything all right? Yeah. You're just really quiet. And I'll be like, don't worry, Dash, I'm all right. Okay, and give you a cuddle. You're fucking wiping a tear from your face because you're like, everything's really bad, but I can't let you see this. And yeah, it was a really strange thing. Like after it, to be like, fuck. But what a lesson learned. Never again will I get caught in, again, not caught the bridge trap. Like, yeah, it was a fucking strange one. Because I don't think you see it, do you? When you're in it,
yeah.
You know, like people say, oh, you just got to take yourself out of it. You know, yeah, but when you're in it, I remember driving along one time and I was that fucking stressed. And again, it was someone not paying me, and he was fucking about. And granted, he might have had his own cash flow things, but rather than just say, look, you know, just ignoring, yeah, I got my invoice, you know, and I was literally like, fucking hell, like I think I'm gonna have a fucking heart attack. You know, just that stressing yourself out, and you're like, fuck. And then looking back now, I said to you, didn't I, about recording video, because this has gone on for a few years, of stress. I used to record videos to myself every new year, and it was like a year recap, and it was like, next year would be better, next year. Fucking 3 years of it not being any better, and I can't watch them. I watched one the other day, and I was like, fucking welling up now. And I was like, I couldn't watch it. I was like, I can't watch that. Because he's so far away from it to what you was, that you almost, I'll acknowledge it, like I'll talk about it now, because I think if there's anybody watching this who they're in that now, just keep going, because you'll fucking get out of it.
What do you find so upsetting about thinking back to that?
I think you just fucking lost yourself. You know, like who you are had just disappeared into nothing because of not just money, just stress and getting so down, and just like, I just call it the dark, like being in the dark for so long. You just lost who you was. And like all these years, even with my wife, like I must have been fucking unbearable. I wasn't horrible, but you wouldn't have got a word out of me. Like I used to come in, oh yeah, you all right? Yeah, you. Bless her. And she's trying, and I'm like, I've just got to sort these bills. I've just got to do this. Just, I'm real sorry the car's broke. Oh, fucking hell, I've got to pay for the car. And yeah, it's just, you just think, and then yeah, like I look back now and I'm like, oh, I watched one of the videos the other day. I was like, fucking couldn't watch it, couldn't finish it. And I was just like, that's fucking mental. Like,
it's a beautiful thing that you're in the place that you are now.
Yeah.
I can resonate.
Yeah.
I can resonate. There's a weird, so when I went through divorce at 31, and on paper, because I remember this conversation I had with one of my best mates, and it was a weird one because, so on paper I lost everything.
Yeah.
I had to sell my house, my car. In fact, I had my car repossessed.
Yeah.
Like I literally lost everything. And I ended up renting. My mum at the time had got a flat that she was letting out, and it just so happened that the tenant left, and I was like, I'll take it. So I've gone from owning my own house, having to sell that, and then moving into a little 2-bed flat. And my mate at the time, and I was actually working for him at the time as well as a contract manager, and he was like, "You all right?" And I remember looking at him and genuinely being like, "Mate, I'm sound.
Yeah.
I'm actually weirdly way better now."
Yeah.
That I'd lost everything though,
Yeah.
Rob, but it was like I'd had the weight of the world took off my shoulders,
Yeah.
because I was like, okay, so I've got nothing now, but I'm still the same person.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first, like, I was single for a period of time, and then I met my wife, who I was remarried now, nearly been married eight years, actually, 8-9 years. And I remember, because she still reminds me of it, she said, "Do you remember when you sat me down and you said to me," and I literally sat her down and I was like, "I have got nothing."
Yeah.
Like, we were just dating. I was like, "I've got to be honest with you. I have got nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do anything for you. I've got absolutely fuck all right now. I've lost it all. But I can guarantee you I will get back on top."
Yeah.
And I said that to her with complete confidence.
Yeah.
I was like, because to me, I'd kind of got to that point in life, same thing, a lot of commitments, a lot of pressure, a lot of weight on my shoulders, having to cover the house, cover the mortgage, cover the car, covering all this stuff, which I was doing, but I was a little bit like you, I was just existing.
Yeah,
I was working to pay for everything I had, not enjoying anything I had because I was constantly working and stressing over it. And when it all went, because it didn't go because I couldn't pay for it, it went because I hit fuck it.
Yeah.
And I just got to the point where I went, "Do you know what?" Which sounds a little bit like where you got to, where I went, "Fuck it all.
Yeah.
It can all go. I don't give a shit no more. Fuck it all."
Yeah.
And then once it went, it was weirdly, I've said this before, like, it was a weirdly freeing sensation.
I don't think, as well, like, if you imagine, there's probably not... Looking back now, you look, and it was a gift, wasn't it? Like, how many people are probably in that position now where they go, "I wish I could just fuck all this off and start again."
Yep.
But they're so, like, you've got money or whatever, you're ticking over, and you want to go on holiday, so you get a £5,000 loan, and you go on holiday and you redecorate the house and you put some new carpets down, and then the credit card comes and you get a credit card, and you're nodding because you've probably done it, haven't you? And you have done it, and you refinance the credit cards going with a loan, and then 2 years later a new loan comes, so you get the new loan to pay off the old loan, but you don't pay it off.
Plus a little bit.
That's it. And you don't have
a
to
little
wait.
bit more.
And people go, and people do it. People, like, and I've done it when I was younger. Fucking hell. And you keep going. And now people are, like, stuck in that thing where they're just working to pay off a cycle of debt.
Yep.
And I look back and like, I've companies thingy, but all the, the debt, and not the debt, the liabilities as such, the house, the car, it's all gone. So you kind of just, like, wipe the slate clean.
That's what I mean. It's almost like freedom in a weird way.
It is freedom, isn't
Having nothing is a weird freedom.
This is it. And I think as well, like, do you not think since COVID people view things a lot differently the way that, like, 10 years ago, if someone had said to you, "Right, well, you want to be renting a house when you're," you'd be like, "I'm renting, I'm going to fucking buy." Like, now I'd happily rent. Like, just to have the freedom to go.
I rent now, mate.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
we, again, I mean, not to go too much into me and my story, but when I met my wife now, it's all sorts, mate. Obviously, divorce brings its own limitations and stuff, but we got to the point where we agreed. We were like, "Do you know what? Sod buying another house. Let's rent somewhere nice that we like and build businesses." Yeah. And that's what we've done.
That's it. And, like, you could probably, I mean, obviously you've got this is obviously your passion. But if, I don't know, for instance, tomorrow this had to shut, you could probably go, "Do you know what, let's just go travel for a bit." And you could do that. Whereas if you got a house, you're like, "Oh, well, we need to sell it, or we need to rent it, or well, the rent won't really cover all the bill." And I think it's a really weird, I think there's been a shift across COVID. I think really made people think about what matters. Like, we was at the time of COVID, it was just before my dad. I remember I was on furlough, but we didn't have, you couldn't go anywhere. So we just used to go out on bikes and, like, walk with the kids and stuff. But it was the fucking best time ever. It was like true family values.
The more things you have, the more things you have to lose, or you feel you have to lose. And that's where the pressure begins. The more physical, material assets that you have. The thing is, in the Western world, we feel that we're so advanced and, like, oh, it's great because we've got all this stuff. Yeah. The stuff is what chains us. Yeah. And then, again, to bring it to mental health, if you look at suicide figures, Western society versus Eastern, miles apart. Yeah. And you'll find people that live in, like, other societies are so much happier with so much less.
Yeah.
And to get philosophical on it, but if you haven't got happiness, you've got nothing.
No.
It doesn't matter if you're living in a multi-million-pound mansion with Ferraris. If you are unhappy, it means nothing at all.
Yeah, you're right. Like, we obviously, so I said, Joe wanted to move to Spain, which I wasn't up against. I was like, let's just get the house and everything sold. Let's go, have a look. And since then, we've obviously got our residency. We live,
So did you go to Spain at that point once you'd sold it all?
Yeah, so fucking hell. So when we'd sold everything, the house and the shop that we had completed on the same day, and we flew to Spain. And when you think, it was the weirdest thing. We got there, got this Airbnb. We had a bit of money from the sales, but not a great deal. It wasn't a lot, and we. Like you'd think you'd be on the balcony, bang, champagne, none of it. It gone through, and we just sat, like, we didn't say fuck all for like 10 minutes. Just sat beside each other. I think we'd just gone back, it was like the last few years had just been replayed, and we were just sat there and didn't say a word, give each other a cuddle. And was like, fuck, like, that's it, it's done, we're free. And we were there. But the point I was going to make was, like, when you're in Spain, like, that's really backward in a way that people don't. People have big houses and stuff, but the majority of people don't, because their life's outside and they get their, I think a lot of the reason why we have to have all these things in England is because you can't really go anywhere, can you, unless you've got money. Like, if you've got 2 kids and you want to take them out for the day, say you take them to Pizza Hut, then you go to cinemas. That's 200 quid in it, minimum.
Crazy.
Like,
yeah.
So if you're a tradesman, let's just, I'm not, brilliant at fast maths. So if you're a tradesman, you're on 200 quid a day, or 250 or whatever. That's a full day's rate gone on taking the kids. So if you're doing it Saturday, Sunday, it's a fucking lot.
Yep.
Whereas if you're over somewhere where you can literally go, do you want to go to the beach? Let's throw some cans of pop in the fucking bag and some sandwiches, and you've spent 10 quid. People are outside a lot more, whereas over here we have to be entertained, don't we?
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot to do, and it sounds really sad. The weather. Like, we can't fucking, it's been winter now for like 5 years, is it? So,
Yeah. It has rained non-stop for like 4 weeks on the bounce.
It's fucking mental. And you're like, I genuinely think it was end of September where the weather changed. We're now in nearly March and it's still fucking raining.
Yeah.
I think, like, you've got to be entertained because you can't go outside. Like, for us, like, our nearest beach is somewhere called Brid. It's like 25 miles away. So again, like, to go there, 25-mile drive, fuel, etc. It's all cost. And I think that's why we buy so much stuff, to fill that void that you can't.
Again, though, mate, the cost of living in the UK is insane.
God.
Don't
get me going.
Mate, but it's true, though, isn't it? Yeah. Like, the reason, it's been a while, maybe 3 years ago, I went to Cornwall with the kids at Easter for 4 nights, Easter as well, so the weather, I think it rained for 3 out of the 4 days. Yeah. I spent that much money. We could have gone all-inclusive abroad to Greece, and that's no bullshit.
No, it's...
Why is it so expensive here? For what? Like, I remember going to... maybe this is me being out of touch, I don't know, but I remember when an ice cream was 99p.
Yeah.
And 99 was 99 for that reason. And we were in St Ives, and when I said to them, do you want an ice cream? And the kids were like, oh, yeah. And I had one. The missus was like, nah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
3 ice creams. Went to order them, and I handed over a £20 note.
Yeah.
And the woman looked at me, and she was like, it's 24, love. I was like, for 3 ice creams?
I know.
It was like £7.50 or £8 for an ice cream. I'm like,
It's
this
insane.
is. Then the funny thing was, she then said to me, she said, "Keep hold of it because the seagulls will have it off you."
I'll fight these
They won't
seagulls
for that price. Like, Jesus Christ! But stupid things like that. Like, as I said, we went down there for Easter. 2 kids, or 4 of us. With I'll say 2 kids. They're eating adult size portions. So then you got 3 meals a day. Yeah, we bought in breakfast to have in this like glamping pod we were staying in, but 2 meals out per day.
Yeah,
I was going through £350 a day,
Yeah.
400 quid a day.
that's the
Crazy.
thing. Isn't it? Like everything. I mean, it has got ridiculous. And I put a post on Instagram the other day saying it was a jokey post. Put some song from back in like 2006, and I went, "You're driving down Main Street in Hull. You got this blasting out your car." I said, "You've got 50 quid in bank, but it's enough for you to have 2 nights out, fill your car." And my mate, who was a young lad, he's like 25, he was like, "Fuck off, 50 quid." I went, "I'm being genuine." I said, "It used to cost me 22 quid to fill my car. I'd go buy a T-shirt for a £5, and then you'd get 2 nights out on like, I think..."
You could get £1 a pint, Rob.
That's it,
a £1 a pint.
Yeah, or you'd get...
10 pints on a tenner.
That was it. And you could buy stuff like, couldn't you? You could get like like 4 pints and 4 shots. So you just get whatever got you the most blitz.
Yeah.
Like, what's that? Oh, it's absinthe. Yeah, fuck it, I'll have that. Like,
whatever's going.
Yeah. But that was like it. And he couldn't understand it. He was like, "No way, could you do that?" I went, "Yeah." But like, I don't know what the answer is here when you like, the cost of living is extortionate.
I mean, I don't want to go too conspiratorial with it because people will be like, "Oh, fucking tin hats." But the more you're kept in that loop,
Yeah.
the less you can pull your head up out of the sand and look at what's going on around you.
Yeah.
We as a society, mate, we're just kept in the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
So it's designed. I mean, this is a really basic sort of vision on things, but I haven't had anyone explain to me why it won't work. I've said many times, where you look at the tax rates, you look at other countries,
Yeah.
the fact that we're taxed as much as we are, plus we pay VAT, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You could drop the income tax rate, I mean, 22% on average. You could drop that down to 5 or 10%, which would give people a hell of a lot more expendable income. Well, what they going to do with expendable income? They're going to spend it.
Yeah.
And they're going to spend it predominantly here.
Yeah.
So the government are still going to get their money back through VAT, taxes, charges on fuel, all the other taxes that we pay.
Yeah.
But people's quality of life would improve.
Yeah.
Instead, we are squeezed and bled dry and kept on that breadline.
Yeah.
Like, we give them just enough to survive, plus a little bit, but it's a little fucking bit. What's the reason? Because I can't work out why we can't be allowed more of our own hard-earned money.
Well, this is it. Like you've just said there, it's like if people had more, they would spend more here. Like you've just said, you could go to Greece. Like, people leave and go on holidays and weekend breaks, Prague, whatever else, because they can't. It's cheaper to fly to a different country.
Yep.
I saw a guy the other day on Instagram. He flew to Turkey from London, did his weekly shop, and flew back because it was cheaper than going to Tesco. And I was like,
that's so stupid.
I'm going to have to send you it, because I was like, this cannot be real. And they're going on about carbon footprint and all this. And you're like, if it's cheaper to do that.
It costs me, right, from here. So just for context for anyone that's listening, I'm 18 miles south of Birmingham.
Yeah.
It costs me on average for an Uber, if it's low rates, about 45 quid, high rates, anywhere between 60, 70 quid to get in or back from Birmingham. I've recently booked flights, mate. In a couple of weeks' time, I'm flying to Warsaw.
Yeah.
It cost me 17 quid.
Yeah.
So to fly to Warsaw. How is that?
I don't know. I can fly to Spain in the low season from Leeds Bradford for 17 quid, maybe 21, I think, with the tax. Or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think what we've got as well is a lot of like, everyone says everything's going up. So I think a lot of people are just like, well, everything's going up, so I'm putting my prices up. Like you've just said there for an Uber. If you actually broke that down into an hourly rate plus miles per car, the markup would be insane, but it's something that someone needs. So they're going, well, everything's going up, so I'm putting my... And
Yeah.
I genuinely think what's going to happen eventually is you're going to have, again, you can't, we won't go too conspiracy, otherwise this will go 5-6 hours. But like, you've got the working class, haven't you? And I believe now there's a new, what I would have classed as upper class, like 50 grand. That's slowly coming down to just a manageable, 50 grand. I think it works out at, I think it's about 38 after tax and national insurance, there or thereabouts. I might be wrong, but you get the picture, don't you? So your grand a week has now gone to less. You're going to have people, like you said, who are just above the breadline. You're going to have 16,000 millionaires last year left.
Yeah.
You're going to have all these people who are in a position to leave are going to leave.
Yeah.
And all you're going to be left with is the people who are in the middle, who are contributing, paying for the ones who don't. And it can't sustain. It can't last, can it? It's like you're seeing the strain now.
Yeah.
Like we're a country under strain anyway. NHS, the roads are fucked, aren't they? Like,
to me though, the thing is, Rob, if you haven't got quality of life, you've got nothing.
No.
That's the way I see it. It's very, very simple vision on life.
Yeah.
But I look at other places. I mean, again, we'll bring Poland into it. But I look at places like Poland, and I don't know if it's president or prime minister, but whoever's in charge over there has brought in tax-free allowances for working families of, I think it's the equivalent of £35,000 in earning per person. Yeah. So a couple, a family is like 70,000 or 60 or 70,000 pounds worth of tax-free earnings if you've got 2 kids in the household. So they're actively encouraging families to go out, earn money, run businesses, and have a good life. Yeah. And if they can do that, and Poland have got the fastest growing economy in Europe, due to overtake the UK by 2030, which for anyone watching is only 4 years now. Yeah. And yet they can give those kind of incentives to their population. Why are we being rinsed?
I have no idea. And the other thing is as well, like Poland, I remember years ago, I can't remember the reason, but obviously Poland's not been that well stabilised for that long, has it? Mate,
30 years ago, it was the poorest country in Europe. 30 years.
Like, people used to complain about, people complain about the Polish moving to England. Like back when...
Taking our jobs.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And all they've done is come, graft like mad, not caused any bother, and then, most of them sent the money home and then gone, right, I'm away. Yeah. Whereas, like, you look at the country, it's absolutely immaculate. And you're like... I genuinely don't know. Like, I sometimes think, do you think like other countries put our news on as like a comedy thing? Like on a night time?
They must do, yeah. I remember watching, it was an interview, I think it was with one of the like Saudi sheikhs or something, and they were talking to him about tax, and he was like,
I've seen.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why do you, and he was just completely mind blown.
Yeah.
Why do you pay this?
Yeah.
So, wow. But it's that same thing of like, well, everyone does.
That is it, innit? And I mean, if you're a PAYE employee and you're taxed at source, aren't you? You can't even. I mean, like, I say businesses are not blessed, but you can kind of, if you wanted to, go, I'm not paying anymore. You probably could to a point. You would eventually catch up with you, but the poor people who are within PAYE, and where's the incentive to work hard? You work really hard, and we'll put you on 40% tax.
Yes, exactly.
That was one of the things I had when I was offshore. I remember I was fortunate, really obviously like grateful I was in a high paid job, but I went into 40% tax. And I remember getting these pay slips, and it was like, by the time you tax the national insurance, so that you tax the national insurance in total worked out at 52%. Mm-hmm. So you was getting less of your wages. Yeah. And it's not like,
that's sickening.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
And it's
horrible.
And it's not like you go like, right, Rob, you're a higher tax earner now, so your bins get emptied twice a week rather than twice a month.
You get anything but any better.
You get nothing. And it's like, Dino was on the dole for the last 15 years, and he's perfectly well, and he can actually work. Gets the exact same thing as the guy who's grafting,
Completely agree, mate. Let me pause there a moment to address all of the painters and decorators in the room. Have you heard about the UK's first independent painting and decorating awards, the Golden Finish Awards? If not, go and check them out. This is your opportunity to be recognised for your skill. The first UK independent painting and decorating awards, not associated to a brand, purely associated to your skills. We're looking to recognise the exceptional skills shown in the painting and decorating industry. Jobs of all sizes and skill sets are there to be recognised. Check out the categories we've got on offer. There are 25 different categories within painting and decorating that you can get involved in. Check out the website at www.gfawards.co.uk and you'll see all of the categories that you can enter. And get ready for what is going to be the painting and decorating industry's event of the year for 2026. Now let's get back to the episode. The same as the NHS, though, isn't it? I mean, me personally, like, I've got a decent level of private health cover because, and it's not, listen to anyone watching, I'm not knocking the NHS. I think they do an incredible job under, you know, in the circumstances they have, the budget they have and the staff they have, they do an incredible job. And if God forbid you're ever in an emergency, 100% you need the NHS. However, when it comes, nobody can argue really, when it comes to like long-term or ongoing treatments, it's failing. And it's not the people within the NHS's fault. With the people that work there, the boots on the ground, it's the way that it's all set up. And you know, a few years ago now, I made the decision that, you know, I insure my tools, I insure my van. But if I can't work, my business stops. So I need to insure myself. So I took out a decent level of private health cover. So on a personal level, I know, you know, people are watching and be like, oh, that's a privilege to do that. I don't see it as a privilege. I see it as a necessity because it's, if I need anything, I need it doing so I can run my business. But I look at that as well and I'm like, well, I still pay NI, but I'm now having to pay for my own private health cover because let's face it, really, the NHS isn't fit for purpose. And before anyone starts on me, like, I've got so many examples. I mean, 2 years ago, Matt, I won't go into the full story. 2 years ago, issue with my knee. Turned out I'd got a cyst called a Baker's cyst in the back of my knee, to do with old football injuries. Anyway, it was causing me a load of grief, kept swelling up for no reason. So I now know what it is. I just take precautions. I had to have like the steroid injections and stuff to sort it out. But the NHS course of treatment was going to take a year. Because I had to wait. They wanted me to do physio, which made no sense. So before they'd give me an MRI scan, I had to have a physio course, and there was a 3 or 4 month wait. Then they wanted to do 6 months for physio, 1 appointment a month for 45 minutes. Before they would then go, okay, that didn't work, so now we'll scan you. And then I'd have had a consultation, and then, you know, eventually got to where I got to. Private healthcare, mate, the whole thing was done in 2 weeks.
That's the thing is, I mean, again, you know, the talk like privatising the NHS, it would stop a lot of people walking in and going, oh, I've got a bad elbow, standing it. You know, like the amount of people I've been in, you know, going back, I've had times where I've gone in. I'm with my ex-wife. I remember once she was having a bit of an issue when she was pregnant, and we went in and it was fucking New Year's Day. So you can imagine what was there. There was, you know, Night of the Walking Dead. There was piss heads. There was people who'd been fighting. And I'm sat and everyone gets obviously equal treatment. And I'm like, she's obviously, you know, she was bleeding. And I was like, she's losing the baby. Yeah, you're going to have to wait your turn. And you're like, what? There's some guy over there who's injected himself wrong in the arm. And you're like, and I was like, this is not working. But it, again, you know, they say, obviously, oh, we don't have the resources. And you're like, we do have the resources. You're just prioritising where the money's going wrong. I think we've sent however many billion to Ukraine. Put it in the NHS.
Yeah, while our own country's falling apart.
Like, we literally, I mean, you know, we've spoke about, I try and see the good in everything. You know, sometimes you take your rose tinted glasses off and you're like, fucking hell. I mean, even down here, you're driving down the motorway and there's fucking litter everywhere, isn't there? Miles of it. And you're like, there's able-bodied people at home who could be out litter picking in order to get their...
The thing is, though, Rob, it seems to be on such a slide. It's like, how bad can it get before there has to be conclusive action to stop it? Because there are hard-working people. like I said that, I've said to you a lot of stuff off air, which I won't bother going into. It's just a long story, but I, at 41 years old, now feel like I don't want to live in the UK. Like, I never thought I would think that. When I was young, I used to love, the fact I was proud to be English and used to love the country and all the rest of it. But I think, if options were there, I'd leave now.
Yeah. Well, it's like us. When we bought that big house, it was, I think if I remember right, it was 320 metres squared, so it was a big old thing. But the whole dream was, imagine when we're older and the kids have had kids.
Home for life, yeah.
And we can be there. And everything... I actually remember the trigger for Jo was, while she wanted to move, God bless him, it was the little girls in Southport. She you remember the attack?
Yeah.
And she come home and she was like, I don't... So obviously there's all this with my dad, sold the house. Then, and obviously, like, bless him, it didn't... We was not there, but we've got a little girl and she was like, I don't feel safe here anymore. And I'm a grown man and I can look after myself, but I don't feel safe. There's parts of town where I would walk around on a Friday, Saturday night and I'd literally be like, this is dodgy, and you shouldn't have to feel like that in your own country, and like you says, like, ooh. So you've not really got a great quality of life. It's expensive as fuck. So, like, I think everyone just kind of hopes, the next government that comes is going to fix it. The next government. But
me too. I think the damage is going to be so vast. I think at some point it's got to reverse. Like, to be hopeful, at some point it's got to get fixed. I just don't think that the next 20 years are going to be...
Well, this is... Like, you imagine, I've took an interest... I say took an interest. It's force-fed to me. Politics. The last 5 years, I would have said I've kind of really looked into... I think it was after COVID, because everything was going... And it's got progressively worse every year. And the things that are going on and you look and you it's almost unbelievable, isn't it? You kind of like, that can't be happening. But it is. And unfortunately, I think you got to unite as a country to make a change, haven't you? And the majority of people have got that much on in their day-to-day life.
This is what I was getting at, though. Yeah. It's like everyone knows there's all this stuff going wrong, but at the same time, we're all under so much pressure that it's like, I can't be going and protesting or attending marches or make it, volunteering to maybe be a local councillor or whatever it might be. Like, I'm trying to keep my head above water here. Yeah. And it's like you can see everything sinking around you, but you're still there, like doggy paddling, trying to stay above. That's why... I don't know, mate. I hate being negative, I really do, but I can't see the change coming, and that worries me.
Yeah, well, you've 100%, maybe going back, if you say, right, let's keep them that tightly wound down, that they just need to pay the bills, so they've not got that can crush a man, can't it?
Yeah.
Just pay. So... he's not going to want to go out on a weekend and march and protest, and he's going to be that stressed out. He's just going to want to fucking sleep or something,
Yeah. I'm going to make a really outlandish comparison here. And listen, I know, I wouldn't rather be there before anyone pops up and is like, "Oh, I'll fucking go there then," right? But North Korea, right? I said outlandish, didn't I? But North Korea, there's the thing with North Korea, right? Obviously, they're very oppressed and they live in poverty.
Yeah.
And there's people that have sort of made comments along the lines of, but there's so many people that, it's the few versus the many.
Yeah.
The population being the many. Why don't they just rise up? Why don't they just say no? Why don't they? Yeah. And it's because their population are kept at that point of poverty and hunger that the only thing on their mind is, how do I get my next meal? They're not looking at the bigger picture of, actually, there's X million of us and, we could overtake these people. We could retake our power, whatever. They're never, because they're so oppressed, the numbers don't matter.
No, that's... Yeah.
And that's, again, outlandish comparison, I said this, but we are, with the cost of living, it just, the amount that we are treading water
Yeah.
generally as a population.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like I can see all that's wrong, but I'm so busy here, I can't do nothing about it.
Again, like if you said, right, if you says to me, right, Rob, we're going to go to a march in London on Saturday, I'd be like, right, so I've got to get to London, so train's 100 odd quid, food, drinks, you know, so 200 quid just to get there. Like,
Day off work.
Yeah, day off work, and I might feel a bit rough on the Saturday, so I can't really do out on the Sunday, and then all that, and you're like, literally like, yeah, no, I can't. You don't do it out of badness, but also you kind of like, well, I've got that much on that I can't really. I mean, years ago, it was pubs was the place, wasn't it? Pubs was the place where you used to go, air your grievances, you know, and now the pubs they're a dying breed, aren't they? You know, like lads used to meet up in the pubs. I mean, even going past, like our dad, you know, they'd meet up and fucking hell, this and that. And
then again, though, mate, also it used to be the only place you could meet up.
Yeah.
So there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram. The only, if I wanted to see how your week had been, sure, I'm going to go down to catch up with Rob, but I've got to go down the pub Friday. I mean, my dad, bless him, he still refers to his local pub as the office.
Yeah.
And that was already, I've got to go to the office tonight. But he used to, in fairness, like, my dad's a drinker, but where he drinks, it's like it's quite a tradesman's pub. So the amount of work he's had from there, or he'd be like, oh yeah, I've got to go down the pub because I've got to go and see so and so, or I've got to go and I need a plumber for that job. I'll see if so and so's in the pub. He's always in there at 5. And it was a proper little social hub. It's one of the few that probably still is. But that used to be everywhere across the UK, and like you quite rightly said, mate, they're gone.
I remember. To be fair, you know, when you say it, like, I remember I got laid off when I was really young. I think it was when I was it was 2007 recession. I think we got laid off. And I ended up going in the pub on a Friday night, and by a Monday morning I had a job.
Yeah.
Like, it was something like, can you dig holes? Of course I can dig holes. Like, and now against Groundworks, by the way, it's a fucking graft. I've done it. It's a proper graft. I've got my cousin's company. I've occasionally done weeks for him, and fuck me, that is a graft. And yeah, they'd be like, can you dig? And I'd be like, yeah, I can dig. Right, start Monday, you're off to Leeds. Make sure you're in, like, you'd be in the pub car park for 5 a.m. with your fucking rigger boots and your Ivys jacket and your little pack up. Yeah, sound. But again, jobs are harder to come by now, aren't they? You know, like, you couldn't do that. You got to...
Well, it's I mean, you know, obviously health and safety is good to an extent, but now everything's CSCS, and if you're on site, you got to have all this stuff, and everything's... It's all been made harder, but like you say, our quality of life ain't really got any better. No. I don't know how we've done it, Rob, but we've gone off political. I had a feeling it might happen, and it has.
Yeah, should have done a prompt board.
What I don't want to bypass is your journey, mate. I want to pull it back to that moment. So because obviously now you're in property development within the UK, but how have you gone? Filling the gap, basically, from selling everything at a low point, moving to Spain, being in an Airbnb with a limited part. Yeah. How does that get from there to here?
So I ended up, basically, I think if I remember rightly, we had about 40 grand. And you think, 40 grand, but again, like we've just touched on, it don't last long, especially not in Airbnbs. I joined... a mentorship group. I wanted to get into property, and I'd already done a couple of properties along the way. So that bigger one we bought, the idea was we'd buy it, do it up, take the money out. But we'd done it, and then obviously the mortgages went up and everything was going to shit. So I ended up getting back into property, but I fully focused on it. And I joined a mentorship group. This was one before Paul's. I did a year, did a couple of like 2-bed flips with this 40 grand I had. That was all I had. So I made that 40 into a little bit more. And then I did another.
In the UK?
In the UK, yeah. So at the minute, like my rotation is not great. It's like I'll do 3 weeks here, then I go there for a week. But I'm obviously, as time goes on, it's going to be 2 and 2. And eventually, I've still got a daughter here, so I need to be here for her. And I just built up, and then I managed to basically, like, this came a lot in the mindset thing. Like, I had no self-belief in myself. Like, I thought, obviously, coming out of the back of a really bad time, I was like, can't fucking do this. Like, what am I doing? And I fucking pretty much brainwashed myself into believing I was good, like I could do things. And you heard of Jim Rohn before? Yeah, so Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy, like, because I had like a lot of time on my hands, I was self-employed, but then I got rid of my house and my car and I didn't have no bills. So I spent a lot of time on my own while my missus was in Spain, and I'd literally go out for a walk for like 4 or 5 hours, just fucking walking around. And I just developed like a positive mindset. And then I started learning to like raise finance, and I was fucking really good at it. And then I could do more property. And then like I went and looked at a building once, and a guy, he saw me coming out of this building and he was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I knew him from years ago. He went, "Oh, I do a bit of investing." And he was like, "Oh, I'll invest in some of your projects." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, sound like never done it before." But I was like, fucking hell, this guy genuinely believes in me. And I was like, yeah, all right then. So I invested. And then another guy, about a year later, "Oh yeah, I'm interested in." So it just went mad. And I was like, I've gone from like doing these little 2 beds, like 1 a year, to like 3, 4, 5 a year. And it just went mad, really. And
so to explain how it works, I guess, for anyone that's listening, you take in external investment in that situation, and then just split profit?
No, so I pay them a fixed interest per month, and then at the end I get to keep what I've made.
Okay.
Yeah, so
in essence it's just like high interest.
Yeah,
loans
that's
for
it.
them.
Yeah, it's high interest. I mean, what are you getting in the bank? Like 1%, 2%?
Next to nothing now, which is why investors are looking for it. Yeah.
Like, I think there's a lot of people in the UK who, if they've got money, they're wanting to get it out of the banks because they know that it's just another thing that they're getting shafted with, isn't it? The banks, like, the banks will lend out your money at 10%, but they'll give you less than 1%. It's bonkers again.
And depreciation in the UK now as well. Your money's just going down.
It gets eroded, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I read the statistics and the data, and I was like, so by having money in the bank, you're effectively losing money because, and you would say this to someone, and they're like, "What? That can't be right." And you're like, "No, it is." That's So, and it's I'm really lucky, really fortunate. Like a few of the people who've invested, we've become really good friends, which is good. And again, they've got a lot to give to me because they've made their money. I'm not competition. And I probably look at it as like, I'm a bit of a tool for them that's giving them a return. They're not really having to do anything. And it's sound. So, yeah, it's gone really well. And then that's where, obviously I mentioned to you before, I've got to a point where by the end of the year, there was going to be somewhere around like £1.4 million worth of investment to me and the company. And that's gone from having nothing, like literally in the last 2 years, and all back to believing in yourself and thinking, yeah, I'm worthy of something, even if I've been at a point where you feel like nothing. And I definitely think it plays such a massive part.
Of course it does, mate.
Yeah, like it says and again, like if I spoke to me, 3, 4 years ago, watching them videos of myself and go, "Rob, people are going to invest in you in a few years because they believe in you," I'd be like, fucking no chance. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's just gone really thing, and that's what I'm wanting to get into. Like giving, you can't say. I mean, I can't personally say like giving back as though it's for free. I want to coach people, and you got to charge to coach. It's your time, but I'd love to be able to see people, like even if they're a bit kind of like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, you fucking can do it. You 100% can do it because I've done it from right back there. I wish if I'd have known now, to be fair, like especially after speaking to you, I wish I'd have documented it a bit more. The low times.
Yeah. It's hard though, mate, isn't it? Because when you're at the bottom, you don't necessarily think, I'm going to start recording this because in 3 years' time, I'll be up there. You're just at that point, you're like, why the fuck would I record this? I feel terrible.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people share that same regret.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Because like I had a quote before, and it was like, not a lot of what was it like? Not a lot of losers do speeches, but they should, because they tell their story, and it's like, I don't view myself as a loser, but I'll quite happily tell people everything, because I'm always like, I always tell people everything as well, because I think if you tell everyone the full story, like, I was fucking skinned, I was struggling, I was this, I was that, you're clear, aren't you? You know what I mean? There's nothing that's like, like when people try and hide a side of them, you shouldn't be ashamed of that. You know what I mean? It's like
100%, mate. I'm a big believer that some of the most successful people in life are the people that have made the most mistakes and lost the most.
Oh yeah.
Because you learn so much from your mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's, again, it comes back to the stoicism. Once you start to reframe it and you see a failure or a mistake as a lesson, and you see the positive of like, actually, I'm glad that went wrong, because from that experience, I've learned all this.
Yeah.
And now when I move and do it again, I'll never do that again, because that was terrible.
Yeah.
But it's the cumulative losses that build up such a knowledge base to me. If you go through life just winning or coasting, there's nothing to be gained from that. You don't win and you don't learn anything from your wins, because what you thought worked. Yeah. Which is great in one respect. But
do you not find that strange? Like, I've got some people, like friends and stuff, and like, they've literally gone through their life and they've never had any form of hardship. And like, I'm now at a point where, within reason, I think if anything to a point happened, I could kind of digest it, brush it off, right, come on then, let's go. But some people, they'll get hit with something and it fucking wipes them out, and they never bounce back.
Yeah, of course.
And I think if you're conditioned from a very, like I says, I mean, I was getting divorced when I was early 20, like mid-20s. You've not seen your kid anymore, all that type of stuff. Like, there's nothing worse than that, is there? By the way. If anybody's watching, like, I can't think there's anybody who would say it's fine. Like, it's the most horrible thing in the world.
It was my lowest points, mate, so I agree.
Same. And I think if you can get through that, I would dare say you could probably get through a lot.
I think it was Jimmy Carr, actually. Have you ever watched some of Jimmy Carr when he's not doing comedy and he's a bit more philosophical?
Yeah, and I find it bizarre, because
he's a fucking genius.
He's a genius.
But I remember watching a video with Jimmy Carr, and he said adversity builds character. Yeah. And he said, show me a trust fund kid that's been given everything in their life with a good character. Yeah. You can't find one. No. And there's truth to it, because it is. Adversity builds character, and you often find... So there's another saying that the worst thing to ever happen to a person is the worst thing to ever happen to a person. Yeah. If you've had a life of challenge and adversity, you build up such resilience that, if you go out to your car in the morning, it's got a flat tyre, it's like, oh, fuck's sake, right, how do I get over that? Solution. Yeah. But if you've never experienced anything and you go out to a flat tyre, that is the end of the world. Yeah. That is complete breakdown, like, oh my God, this is the worst day of my life, which to me and you would be like,
yeah.
But if you've never experienced adversity, you've never built... It's like a muscle, isn't it?
Yeah.
So sometimes people with what we perceive to have an easy life, not a good thing.
No.
When you get to later years, the longer that goes without adversity, because at some point something's going to happen.
And I think if you... I'm just saying this from my own perspective. Like, if you said... If you get to 40 and you've never had any form of adversity and something comes, like, I mean, how many people do you see or hear, and, they get to 40 and then their first marriage breaks down and they start eating the drink and whatever else. It's like, don't get me wrong, my first marriage, I did it the drink. I went on a bit of a wobble, but I bounced back. I think like you've just said there, the longer it goes without anything.
Yeah.
Because you've also not got people to fall back on, have you? Like, happens when you're younger, you've still got distractions around you. You've got your mates, you play football, rugby, whatever you do, to kind of keep your mind occupied. If it happens later on in life, everybody's usually settled down.
You're
like,
right, mate. Yeah.
Who are you going to turn to?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Tip of the day, get divorced young.
Get it out of the way, especially the first one.
But actually, you're right, because, when I got divorced, I did have mates around that were like,
that's
let's
it.
go out.
Yeah,
So,
want to come round to mine? I've got a flat, and everyone's round with the tinnies.
that's a good point, Rob. Whereas if I got divorced now, it would be a lot more difficult to
that's
get
it.
out.
You've got no one to play out with, have you?
Exactly.
But yeah,
if you took nothing else from this episode,
that's the golden nugget.
Get your first divorce in, young kids.
But that's it, isn't it? It's like, same way, they say it with business, don't they? If you're going to fail fast and get it out the way. Like,
man.
Because, again, if you, I don't know, let's say you finish 50 years old, your business goes down the shit, you've got personal guarantees, all the rest of it, you have to go bankrupt. You've got 6 years until you can get into a position where you can start again.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 21, I was in a lot of debt, and I had to pay it all off. I had to work it off, but I still had the bad credit. But I got it out of the way. It's done. It's gone. It's long, long behind. You get it out of the way quick, don't you? I think there's a lot to be said for it.
Do you know what? That is, on that point. So regular listeners of the show will know my background. I used to be a bailiff.
Yeah.
I did 4 years of that. And the one thing that always blew my, I couldn't understand, other than the moral element of it, right? The minute you get a default on your credit file is fucked. Yeah. So that's going to sit with you, or a CCJ even worse, going to sit with you for 5-6 years until it comes off. Why bother paying it off? What I'm saying is, to me, say if you've racked up, let's just say 50 grand in debt, you're under the cosh and you've defaulted, so your credit file's done, you've been marked down, and then you've got so I've now got to pay this off for the next 5-6 years while my credit file rights itself. You might go into an IVA or agreements with your creditors, whatever it might be, to pay it off. My argument is, why bother? If your credit file's fucked, just go bankrupt.
So you've just reminded me, one of the things I did when my credit was bad, got a job offshore, earned good money, but these defaults have been on my credit file for like 4.5 years. And I remember paying off 9 grand of the debt. And I remember meeting somebody somewhere. They said, like you, they went, why did you do that? They went, it'll be statute barred after 5 years. And I went,
5 years,
No ChatGPT back then. Google, what is statute barred? I ended up going on a forum called Legal Beagles.
Yeah. I remember it.
Yeah. And I was like, you fucking bastard.
See, I learnt all this.
Yeah.
when I did the job.
Yeah.
When I was doing that job, they brought out a new thing. The government brought out something called a DRO, which was like a mini bankruptcy. I don't even know if it still exists, to be honest, but it was a debt relief order.
Yeah.
And it used to be debts up to 30k.
Yeah.
And it was, you could self-cert basically.
Yeah.
So you could self-certify to apply for it, and it would go through, it still had to go through the court, but there was no hearing or nothing like that. And we used to deal with people all the time that were going through various financial legal battles and that. And whenever you spoke to CAB or any solicitors, the first thing they advise their client is stop paying it.
Yeah.
So if they work out you're going to go bankrupt or a DRO, the first thing they say is stop paying that debt.
Yeah.
Because you are throwing your money down the fucking bin.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get it wiped. A bankruptcy will wipe off your debts.
Yeah.
So it's reframing it, Stoic.
Yeah.
Bankruptcy is good, people. But it will wipe off your... Yes, it kills your credit file for 5 or 6 years. It will wipe off your debt. So if you're going to get to a stage where you're battling it and you're thinking... It's a bit of debt advice, to be fair. If you are failing and you're battling it and you've already defaulted and you've already got CCJs and things like that, your credit file is in the bin. At that point, in my opinion, and this isn't legal advice, but in my opinion, you're better off either getting something like a DRO, wiping it off, or go bankrupt, wipe that off. Bankruptcies used to last 3 years or 5 years.
5 years,
They're 1 year now. Oh. So it stays on your credit file for 5, but you are only bankrupt for 1 year.
Right.
During which time, obviously, bank accounts and that. But you can, from that point, after the 1 year and your bankruptcy is discharged, essentially you can start rebuilding your credit file.
Yeah. I think it's shocking as well. If you've been, let's just say you've been a victim of something horrendous and you can default on something and it's on there for 6 years and you're like...
Do you know what I did, Rob? And I've got regrets over doing this, mate. But this is why... So again, personally, I fucked my credit file when I got divorced.
Yeah.
Because I hit fuck it mode.
Yeah.
I won't go into detail as to why, but I deliberately stopped paying certain things.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't happy with the situation.
Yeah.
And it killed my credit file.
Yeah.
And the minute it did that, I went, well, it's fucked now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's no point me paying any of the rest.
No.
Like,
you're right, and it's an awful thing, isn't it? Like like that one thing, like an electric bill, for instance, you don't pay it for a couple of months because you've missed it or whatever, and it fucking ruins your credit.
Do you know what? This is the crazy thing again with credit files, because you can destroy your credit file with a mobile phone bill.
Yeah.
Or something stupid like something little things.
Yeah.
You know, you go, say you get something from AO, you buy a new microwave.
Yeah.
You can destroy your credit file with that if you stop paying it. But some of the big things, like say business rates, that some of these big companies owe tens of thousands of pounds. If you don't pay your business rates, you know, it don't affect your credit file. Don't affect your credit rating.
Yeah.
If you don't pay, and I'm not advising to not pay these things because they do come with other consequences, but council tax.
Yeah.
If you don't pay your council tax, it does not affect your credit file because it's a different kind of debt. It's like civil and legal. There's certain, if a debt ends up going through like Crown or magistrates for recovery, it don't go on your credit file.
It's bizarre, innit? I can't understand. I don't, for the life of me, understand.
CCJs obviously do, for anyone listening.
I don't understand the system. I mean, like, Spain doesn't have credit files or references, right? So we went to get a mortgage, and I put through £3,500 a month, which not rock star wages, just a normal. They would lend £350,000 10 times, with no like. It's like, and that was just legit. That was like, oh well, if you're earning that, you can afford. And you're like, so how do they check your credit worthiness? And it's through what goes through your bank. That's it. And you think of it as like,
kind of actually is more sensible.
Yeah, like,
let's be honest.
Yeah, you think of it and you think that's mental. But then how many people have got bad credit who are really good people who've just had a bit of a wobble? Like, you know, like you say,
again, you talk corruption. It's like renting, yeah?
Yeah.
So I would hazard a guess that my house, I pay more in rent than I would pay on a mortgage.
Yeah.
But if I went to the bank, they would probably tell me I can't afford the mortgage.
Yeah.
Well, mate, that makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't, does it?
Like, I can show you 6 years worth of on the nail paid on time every single time at the rate that we're paying, and yet a bank would tell me that a mortgage, even if it was for a different property, a mortgage for the same value as what I'm paying in rent, a bank would probably tell me currently I can't afford to pay that.
Yeah.
Even though you can show them.
That's...
But it's on paper. So computer says that.
And that's it, innit? Computer says no. Like we had. So when we was going through all that with our previous mortgage and it went up, we tried to refinance onto a better rate. But this is obviously, Liz Truss should fucking ruin the economy. And there was like 2 or 3 lenders, and then one of them said you can't afford. I think the repayment was like $1,100 a month, and I was like, we've been paying $2,300 for the last 6 or 9 months. Like, oh, believe me, we can afford to be on a lower rate. No, you can't.
Computer
and I'm like,
says no. Yeah.
Okay, sell, get rid of everything, get the sleeping bags out. We're living in the garden.
It's crazy,
but
though,
again,
isn't
it's
it?
fucking bonkers. But I remember my uncle. He was like a long-term project manager, and he said years and years ago, like, if you wanted something through the bank, you would meet the bank manager, or you go for a meal.
You'd know them.
Yeah, that's
the
it.
person,
like,
They would make a decision based on...
Exactly that. And you would go into the bank and you'd say, hiya, Tim, do you want to meet up for a coffee on Friday? And we're going to have some food. So we're looking for a loan. And he said, like, business was easy. He said, if you was expanding, you could say, this is how much we've done. You know, like, they'd happily lend. But it's like me now. So obviously I've got private lending. Banks hate it because, like, well, where are you getting this money from? Yeah. Like, oh, not from us. Like, and it is so weird. Like, you'd say you'd contact the bank and you could maybe say, right, I want to refinance all this debt with you, but I can't afford it. You're like, well, I can because I've just been paying.
Yeah. This is what I mean, though, mate. None of these systems are there to actually help people. It's just to take and control, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
But this is the thing where you're like, if you use common sense, none of the financial system makes sense.
Oh, no. I mean, that what I just said, like about, I can't remember exactly, but for every like £10 you have in the bank's lending that out and getting 100 back. Something like that.
It is. It's 10.
Yeah.
So the legal system with finances allows a bank to lend 10 times the amount of what they have out.
Yeah.
So if you give the bank £10, they can lend 100 based on your £10.
Yeah.
You try doing that in reverse.
No. So if you went to the bank tomorrow, say you had 100 grand, and you went, I want to take out my 100 grand, they won't give you it. Like, they just point blank say, no. What? And I mean, have you been paid cash at all? And you try and take it in, and where's it from? What's it for?
Yeah,
and
mate,
you're like,
it's 1,000,001 questions.
The customer's paid me.
Yeah.
Like, it's legitimate money. Where did you get it from? Have you got any proof? And you're like, I'm trying to put it in. Like,
mate, funny story actually. To be fair, when I got divorced and there was money left over from the sale of the house, and I bought a VW Transporter van.
Yeah.
I bought it off a guy. It was a retired fireman. Got a lovely van. I won't go into detail, but 14 or 17 grand. And I went into the bank to take it out. Yeah. And I was like, right, I want to make a withdrawal, blah, blah. You had to book it because they don't keep the cash in the bank. Had to book it. Went to get my money, and it was, right, we want to run through a series of questions. Yeah. And the woman, she said to me, it was an older woman as well, and my head, like I say, weren't in the best of places, going through the divorce and all the rest. And she started on the, can I ask you what's this for? And I remember it was just rubbed me up the wrong way, the way it was said. I was like, why? And she was like, well, because of fraud and this, that and the other. I went, I've just got divorced, so probably strippers. This woman, she was, oh.
Shut the shutter down, like
exactly. But yeah, that was one of the high points for me. But not recommending that people do that either. But it's just mad though, isn't it? Like you say, that you have to justify what you're doing with your money, where your money's come from. Again, it's all. Yeah.
And you can't deny it. It is a control thing. Like,
of course, it is.
I've noticed you speak to a lot of people they're getting. I think a lot of people are getting a bit more savvy with where they're putting the money out there. Like people I've got a few mates, and again, they've done really well, and their money's now in like bonds and investments and in this and in that, and they're trying to keep it out of the bank because they don't want the bank having it.
Said, mate, there's no benefit to having it there, though. Interest rates are non-existent. It's difficult to get your money out or put money in. It's just not a user-friendly system for day-to-day existence. Yeah, but if you're for investments or large sums, I'd be really hesitant.
Yeah, I mean, got the anti-money laundering that I have to do with investments and stuff.
I hate to imagine it, mate.
It's insane. I mean, yeah, you get it, but it's
why is all this money coming from Albania?
Yeah. Well, this is. I had one, and it was. What did he ask? This was a UK thing, obviously. So you withdrew some cash in Spain. What was it for? And I was like, do I have to answer these questions? I'm talking to the broker. I'm like, do I have to answer this? And he's like, yeah, you do if you want this for your mortgage. I was like, fucking hell. I'm like, the money was for groceries because they like being like over there. If you get your card out to pay, they kind of like, they like cash still. It's old fashioned. So a simpler time. So you take out cash, put it in your wallet. I prefer having cash as well because you can kind of keep a tab on what you're spending. Yeah. When it's card, it's not real, is it? You just
100%. Yeah.
But where you're over there and you're like, right, I've got 200 quid, so that should last me a week. And where have you got this? And I thought, okay, it's gonna ask me when I last went for a shit next.
They changed rules, didn't they?
Yeah.
That was like, you had to justify how much you spent on haircuts to get a mortgage, and they would go through your bank statement and we don't think we can give you a mortgage because you spend too much on Domino's or whatever it might be. It's like, well, I'm a fucking adult, so if I've now got a commitment, obviously I'm not going to spend as much on takeaways or whatever it might be. It's crazy, mate. It when you say it out loud, it's even worse. Oh, no. It just sounds worse.
If you go, I mean, they've they've squashed it at the minute, haven't they? But your digital ID and your carbon footprint and all that. Some of the proposals, was to fair play to Brits. They stood up and they went, nope. And you looked at some of that, and it was like you're gonna get, because again, like me and my missus was talking about it, and I was like, this is genuinely a thing where you can only fly 4 times a year and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to have to make a decision on what I'm doing pretty sharpish.
Well, I think I'll be
staying
over there. Yeah.
But I said, like, you're just pushing people away, aren't you? Like,
that's the thing though, mate. That's what I don't really understand, is that there's no incentives. There's no like, come to England, this is great.
Yeah.
Whereas other countries seem to be latching onto that. But it is just constantly like, it's that I feel like oppressed almost, where it's like,
we are,
what you got? I can take that.
Yeah.
What you're doing over there, you can't do that. And that's all it is. You can't do that. We want to take this. But there's never any, here's an incentive.
Yeah.
We want to boost the economy. We want people to run businesses.
Yeah.
We want to help you out, you know.
Yeah. It's like
there's none of that.
Like this high street. Like if they went, right, we're gonna give you business rate relief for a year. We'll give you a 10 grand incentive if you want to open a shop, get the high street back going.
Yeah.
None of that, because they haven't got the money. But then they have got the money, but it just gets dispersed. Otherwise.
But listen, mate, we're living in a country now where, I mean, was it last year? The year before last, Birmingham City Council went bankrupt.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I worry that the way things are going at the minute, that the fucking country will go bankrupt eventually.
What does that even mean, though? Do you know what I mean? Like, what does that mean?
Well, like, you remember
if the country goes bankrupt?
Yeah, well, like, you remember when Greece needed a huge bailout from, like, the economy just crumbled, didn't it? And I think that's, like, as time goes on, there's less and less money, there's less and less being spent, less going on infrastructure. We're blitzing through money like nothing. You know, it was all right during COVID when they turned on the money printers and did, like, it's called quantitative easing, innit? You know, just printed loads of money. And everything was glorious for a few years, and now we're paying the price. Because they reckon that, I read somewhere that a lot of these tax increases, all this, is money paid back from money that was borrowed that will never be repaid. So everyone who got business bounce back loans, who won't be able to pay them back.
Well, it's not only that, mate. So a bounce back loan, a lot of the bounce back loans were unsecured and unenforceable.
Yeah.
So, because the government actually brought out legislation basically saying that if a bounce back loan isn't repaid, that they weren't going to actively pursue it. Other than letters and stuff like that. So they didn't take any legal action on unpaid bounce back loans, and they were all unsecured.
Yeah.
So in essence, no legal recompense for getting the money back.
No.
They insured it for the banks.
Yeah.
So the banks didn't lose out. The government foot the bill. But there's a huge amount of those bounce back loans that didn't get repaid.
Yeah, and that's it. So you've got all that, haven't you? You've got, like, you know, there's all that money that we're now footing the bill to be paid, plus the money that's going out the door, plus obviously, you know, not to go into it too much, but you've got more people arriving who don't contribute than people who are arriving who are contributing. Then you could get into AI. You know, there's jobs disappearing because AI can now do it. I seen something yesterday. I think Tesla have made basically a robot that can work at McDonald's on a track.
Yeah, iBots.
How long? How long? What?
The whole thing would be automated.
6 to 9 months. That's all of them gone, and then you've got another load of people who are on the door, and I just don't get it. The country's propping up too much with not enough coming in, because the only way to bring it in is tax, but then the higher earners and the businesses are all fucking off.
Exactly.
So, scary times.
Yeah.
Like, I mean...
But like I said, refer back to my earlier comments, I kind of feel like give the people their money and they will spend it.
You look at during COVID, right, when they did actually do that, eat out to help out.
Yeah.
And could you not get like a token or something? I can't remember.
There was percentages off the bill, wasn't there?
That was it. They would pay fucking restaurants.
It was like the government were footing, was it 25% of the bills up to a max value?
And look at how many people was out. So if you said, right, we're going to give, I don't know, a 25% a year relief on your tax. So if you earn 50 grand, you know, you get your 12.5 grand tax-free allowance, but then that other, come on, maths, 27.5. Is that right?
From what was the original?
From if it was a 50 grand a year, but like, yeah, that's right. So
37.5, yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
if you, so on that 37.5, we're going to give you a bit of a relief on it. The first thing you're going to do is go out and spend it.
Just sliding scale. They don't. Honestly, the tax rate could either be dropped or they could slide and scale it and go, right, okay, you get your first 12.5, because obviously they've frozen that, so that means fuck all now.
Yeah.
First, get your first 12.5 free, your next 10 grand at 10%.
That's, perfect.
You know,
That'd work,
scale
wouldn't
it.
it?
Or drop VAT again, because again, that's something else they did off the back of COVID. Would they drop it to 15? Yeah.
But aren't they talking now about making VAT for small businesses? There's talk of it going down to 30%.
Sorry, 30k. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know whether it'll hurt small businesses or it'll be a saving grace.
So my opinion on this is VAT at the minute is a bit of a bugbear because of the rising cost of living and the fact that the threshold hasn't gone up. There's a lot of businesses now that are teetering on it.
Yeah.
So I can speak first-hand experience for that. So a lot of my decorating business is high-end domestic. And the domestic market, it will make a big difference to me if I go VAT registered, which I'm not currently.
Yeah.
However, if they dropped it to 30k, that would pretty much put everyone, so level playing field.
Yeah,
If the playing field was level, then I think it would be okay, but it would push over. So the demographic I work in, which is generally high-end, high-ticket houses, I don't think it make much difference. But what it will make a difference is the people, a little bit like what you said earlier, that are like, do I do it myself? Do I get a professional in? If it's under £1,000, I'll get the professional in. That it's then going to push everyone. Everyone is going to be overnight 20% more expensive. Yeah. Will it reduce the amount of clients in the market? Yes.
Yeah. I think I think a lot of what you see, especially in trades now, and I can remember this when I was on the tools. And again, I've not been on the tools for long, so it's only probably been a couple of years. I remember you would go to jobs, and because of the price of things, and this was like 2 years ago, and it's got much tighter. You would go and you'd give a price for a job. Say it was a bathroom, and you'd give them the price, and you'd say, I'll just use this as a figure. It's £3,000 for a rip out and a landlord special bathroom. And they'd be like, okay, what if I rip out the bathroom, I take all the tiles off the walls, I get rid of the rubber, and you're like, well, I don't know, like 2.5. But then what if and you're like,
yeah.
And then you're going back to that, the VAT thing. People are going to start, where people are watching their money even more now.
Could bring cash back in though, couldn't it?
Yeah. Well, well, I think before long we're going to be back to like little draw bags of gold and silver and
nuggets.
Cutting slices.
What was it before that? Bags of flour or corn, wasn't it?
Going to be doing trades in the street for of services. What can you do for me? Oh well,
that's it.
Do this. But yeah, it's like people are already watching it, and then if everyone, again, like you just said there, if all of a sudden you're 1 week, and I keep using the grand for thingy, has gone up by a couple of £100, it's like,
yep.
You know what? Let's not get this done this year. We'll save up or whatever. And
well, I mean, listen, I can give a real life example of it. To be honest with you, Rob, like at the minute, one of my other businesses is an awards company. Yeah. We've got an event coming up this year, and we're currently looking at quotes from suppliers for the event.
Yeah.
And one company we're looking at is VAT registered and the other is not. And the difference for us is thousands.
Yeah,
mate.
that's...
Thousands, and we're currently not VAT registered because it's a new business, so we haven't turned over that. I dare say it'll end up there definitely next year.
Yeah.
But that could sway it right now, like, because it's a difference of like 4 or 5 grand.
Yeah.
So...
And that's it, innit? And the further up that scale you get, it's 4 or 5 grand, and then you get to 20, 30, 40, and it becomes 10, 15, and you're like, it's not pennies anymore, is it? It's not something you can, we'll pay the VAT on this one, but we'll make it back on the next job, because we've got that on, and it's like, it's really, really strange at the minute.
It's just another pool, though, mate, isn't it? That's the
yeah.
problem. But it's another thing that they're looking at. Oh, can we get more over there and more over there and more over there? Because my argument is still, but actually, if you give people more of their own money, you'll get more back, and people will be happier.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Somebody tell me why that's wrong, because I keep saying it, and I'm waiting for somebody to go, well, actually, Russ, that wouldn't work
because
somebody get in the comments or something. Somebody tell me why my logic isn't logicking.
There's got to be an economist somewhere watching this.
Got to be. But when, like I said, we look at the examples of other countries with way less tax, more favourable rates, even no tax in certain occasions, and yet their countries are thriving. Why is it?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
Mate, I'm going to have to wrap this up because we're going to go on forever, aren't we? The political side, mate. It's
you should do that. The politics podcast, just going in, no holds barred.
Do you know what, mate? I feel quite passionately about it, and part of it is because I'm a father. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, I'm not worried about my own quality of life because obviously it's important, but I'm very worried about my kids and the country that they're inheriting, and I hope they leave. If I'm being honest with you right now. So that's my main concern with it. But generally, I try and keep things relatively positive.
No, that's it, isn't it? It's funny, isn't it? Because when you're younger, people talk about politics. Not bothered about that. Gets a pint. You know, it doesn't even come to you. Don't even come in your brain. But yeah, like when you get older, and that is it. You're literally thinking what is going to be left. And I mean, my youngest, she's 10. My stepdaughter, she's 10. My eldest, 14. So realistically, 14, 4 years she's in the big wide world.
Yeah.
I've seen in 2 years the worst I've ever seen. You know, things go from okay to just plummeting through the ground. So what's it going to be like in 4 years?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
how do you say, like, I've had this conversation with my son where I'm literally like, do you know what, son, you inherit the business, and if you work really, really hard, you can pay 50% of everything that you earn to the government to live in a country with some of the worst statistics on crime, safety, and prospects. Yeah. Aren't you lucky?
But again, that's it. Like, how do you incentivise him? You can't, can you? And you're like, and this is, and again, I know that jobs are harder for women to get than men. So, like, I've 2 girls. What's their prospects going to be? Like, years ago, if you know, you got to wrap up, I won't like keep going, but you know, years ago, if there wasn't anything you could turn to, it was, and again, I'm not knocking it, but it was call centres, shop workers, etc.
Yeah.
Everything's self-checkout, pretty much. You've got one member of staff. Call centres are pretty much all AI now. So all these things where you're like, right, just do that, and then you can find your way, you can choose what you want to do.
The build me up jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, even like university, like, go to, and again, I'm not knocking university, but go to university to study for a job that might not be there by the time you're finished.
Yeah. I mean, daft as it sounds, the trades is actually a really good option.
Yeah.
It's one of the few good options now.
Do you think there'll be a second wind
of trades?
Yeah, because at the minute people are getting into it. Are they?
Yeah, I do believe. I think the current trend. So at the minute the trades are massively understaffed, but there will come a point where it will be so blatantly obvious that your AI jobs are under threat, or AI possible jobs are under threat, and the trades are like the last bastion of hope.
Yeah,
you can't. The robots ain't quite there yet. Yeah. But I mean, you know, you go far enough down the future, they probably will be. Well, you'll have a little painter bot come into the house with spray gun arms and just like
maybe. But I think again, like people, you know, so a lot of people they want that personal. They want people in the, you know, oh, I've brought this robot, I'm going to set it up and. You know, you'd be like, "You're all right. I'll get Dave. Dave can come."
We say that now,
yeah, I know.
But you know, in the future, it'll just be like, "Yeah, I've booked the Tesla painters in.
You know,
I'm gonna go out for the day, and they're gonna paint the whole house perfectly in like 3 hours."
That's it. Yeah, 100 microns of paint per coat.
Yeah,
you're just
exactly.
Like, what are you talking about?
But I mean, listen. I mean, that one might be beyond my lifetime, so it's somebody else's fucking problem.
Yeah, will get away from that.
But the other stuff, mate, you're quite right. I mean, I think I won't try not to go on too much longer, but I'm sure I saw something the other day saying that I think I was listening to a podcast actually about the States, and they were saying that there's 8 million jobs just in taxi drivers in the States.
Yeah.
Autonomous cars.
Yes.
And they are, certain states, they're fully licensed now.
Yeah.
So taxi drivers going to be gone. Any kind of transport, lorry drivers, taxi drivers, anything like that, it's all going to be autonomous.
But again, does it come down to the people, where the people go, we've had enough? I think I saw something where they was testing the autonomous cars in some part of wherever, and the drivers absolutely smashed it to pieces. Like, it was driving around and they basically attacked it and went,
really?
No, yeah, like they'd had enough.
We ain't having it.
Yeah, like, and you think, part of you is like, Jesus, but then you're like, fair play, like, you're making a stand.
I think, because I listened to like Elon Musk talk and he basically says that, it's kind of like his objective with all this technology that people won't have to work as much.
Yeah.
If you take it from that perspective, it's like, oh, okay, well, if we can automate some of our society to make our lives easier so we don't have to work. But then, then you get into dangerous territory with like universal incomes. Well, people don't need to work anymore, but we all need a baseline of existence. And you're going to get this many credits and, good behaviour, bad behaviour. It all gets a bit fucking, gets a bit sci-fi, but it's not too far out of pitch.
Do you know what? Yeah, you can. The internet's a dangerous place, isn't it? You can go on a rabbit hole. It's 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, Jesus Christ! You come off, and you're like, oh my God.
The scary thing, mate, is at times I'm really glad. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think I've got some life left in me yet.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that I'm like 41. And that I've lived a decent life pre-social media.
Yeah.
The old, like playing out kind of life with no communication connection and all that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad of that.
Yeah. Well, this is it.
There's a part of me that kind of goes, well, do you know what? If we fuck the world up in the next 20
I've had a good time.
Yeah, I've had a good run.
Sorry, kids. You'll tidy the mess up.
It's your problem now, mate.
Yeah. Well, that's it, innit? Like we probably say it because we are that age, but you think you had the best generation in the way of out. You'd go out fucking 2, 3 in the morning. Mum and Dad wouldn't know where you are. You're sneaking through the back door. Nobody had any phones. Right, I'll meet you down shops at 5. You're going to be there? Yeah, I'll be there. You went down. He wasn't there. You went home.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. Like, kids don't even go out anymore, do they?
But I guess to them, and it'll be the same for future generations, they only know what they know, so they'll be born into it. And that we're here going like, oh, it's so sad that you didn't do that. They're like, oh, if I can do that.
I think because we've, again, we lived so much in such a short period where that we've had, we've gone into the AI.
Yeah, mate. Like the technology boom in the last
20 years
has been just off the charts, hasn't it? If you look at the improvements in society from, say, the year, I don't know, say like from the Romans to the Victorians.
Yeah.
It's not that much.
No, we got drains, didn't we?
Basically, drains and corsets. Like, there weren't that much difference. But then, the last 20 years has just gone insane.
You've had, in the last 20 years, you've got, let's just cut out some bits, telephones, and now we have basically got, I don't know, me and you could probably have a hologram call from somewhere where you could be in the room, not really, there'd be a hologram. That's something that's actually possible.
Yep.
If you'd have said that to you 20 years ago, like you're going to be able to do a virtual call where you're going to be on the wall type thing on a projector, and you're like, what?
Like 20 years ago, FaceTime would have been mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like, you can go to Australia.
Yeah.
And I can watch you in, virtually, fraction microsecond delay.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is. It's insane.
And this is just stuff that, the new generations are just going to take for granted. They're like, that's what we do. That's what we have.
That's it, yeah.
Because they're never going to know the time before.
Yeah.
So, mate, it's... I don't know. I mean, I guess it's terrifying for us. It's probably not terrifying for them. Rob, it's been a great conversation, mate. I think we could sit here for a long time. I'm conscious of wrapping it up.
Yeah.
So appreciate your time, mate. It's been really nice to hear your journey, where you've gone to, where you from, because there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel for people there, mate.
That's it.
For anyone that has heard your story or wants to find more out about your coaching that's going to be pending, or even just the way you've done things and how you've done it, mate, where do people find you?
Instagram, it's Rob Real Property, and Facebook, it's just Rob Barr. You'll see me, it's me, a banner. But again, if anybody, even just like, if just somebody's under it now, and they just say, I heard your story, it resonated with me, just drop us a little message. If I can talk to somebody. I said, I've got a post on one of my Instagrams that basically says, I'd rather listen to someone for 50 minutes than see an obituary in the back of a fucking newspaper. So if anyone's going through it and they just want to chit chat,
appreciate that. That's always a good shout. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Like we've said, life is fucking hard. So if you go, you know what, Rob, I'm feeling like you did. What was the time? I'll quite happily chit chat away to somebody. It's giving back in it. It's
1,000,000%, mate. Well, scroll wherever you're listening to this. Scroll down. Rob's details will be in the episode description below. There should be a live link there as well that will take you straight to his socials, so you can always find him that way. With that in mind, mate, before we wrap up, actually, a big thank you to Sammy from Branded by Sammy for our guest merchandise, which I'll send Rob away with shortly, t-shirt, hoodie and all the rest of it. If anyone's looking for any branded workwear, branded anything, to be fair, Sammy takes care of all my stuff, banners, workwear, cups, mugs, pens, all the rest of it. Go and check out Branded by Sammy. And to everyone listening, thank you for listening. Catch you soon on the next one.